Hello again, friends and loyal Wolfpack members. Chaos Wolf here, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today we are going to be having a look at the new Raider ship kit for the Anaconda. Now, let's go and have a look. First of all, we'll go and see how many parts there are per set. We can see there's 3 parts per section in this, whereas normally there are 4, but we do have paint jobs which go along with this. So, first of all, let's go and have a look at, as always, the spoiler pieces. First of all, we're going to have a look at this one. And as we can see, we get a bunch of spikes on this flank of the ship, a bunch above the cockpit, and some over the other side. Whether or not we get anything below here is another issue. We'll have to have a closer look to go and see. Starting on this flank here, we can see that there are a couple of spikes here. Not very many, and we've got a bunch of spikes adorning and metal plates adorning the top of the ship here. So basically from the top of the cockpit moving backwards. And then we'll go and have a look around on the other side. We can see that we've got a fin, a couple of canisters, and some extra spikes. Now, I don't suspect we are going to be getting anything on the underside. No, it doesn't appear as though we do. Moving over to part 2, we can see here that we've got spikes coming up here. We've got a couple there, maybe a few there, and some up the front, and maybe something there. Yes, we do. We have something there as well. So let's go and apply this and get a closer look. So first of all, we can see the giant spike coming out of the rear there, more on top of the cockpit itself, as well as some more spikes adorning the rear area there. So, all in all, quite a few bits added into this one. Some piping up on the top as well, and some spikes to the side of the bridge as well. So you should be able to see them from your cockpit seat. Let's go and have a look at the other side. We can see that there's not quite so much here. We've got a bunch of spikes there and nothing up front on this side. But we do have what looks like some kind of jerry-rigged antenna. So that's kind of interesting. And again, we'll go and see that there are more spikes being mounted to the rear here. In fact, let's actually go and speed this up, look around the back quickly, and see... Yep, there we are. We can see basically a whole host of extra items welded onto the back here. So that's not too bad. Again, these look like they're taken from the Cobra kit, but to be perfectly honest, they do seem to fit very nicely here. We've also got what looks to be another cylinder bolted onto the back there, so that's kind of cool. Question is, though, it seems, if I'm not mistaken, to be free floating. So that's not good. That seems to be really, really badly modelled. Maybe it's a bug, maybe it'll be fixed later, but that little cylinder is supposed to be free floating on nothingness. So yeah, not great. Let's get a bit of a look at that from a different angle. Yeah, we can see it there. It is just free floating, so that's not perfect. Now, time for the last of these spoiler pieces. We'll have a look at this one. This is the super spiky one. And this already looks really spiky. We've got a bunch of spikes on top of the cockpit. We've got a spike here, more there, and a lot of it around this area. So let's go and apply this and have a closer look. So here we go, we can see that there are indeed a lot of spikes added onto this one, and there's quite a few forward-facing ones as well. In fact, this is actually kind of interesting. We've got a lot of cylinders added in as well, a lot of containers, and just lots of spikes just welded on. Although, I don't know if it's just me, but are those spikes very similar to what they had on the first kit? And in fact, the plates are actually clipping through into the top of the bridge as well, so that's not ideal, but it's not something you're going to be looking at all that often. Moving over to the other side, again we can see that it's again a non-symmetrical build because we've got more bigger spikes on this side, and we still have the forward pointing spikes here, but they are very different. And we have those cylinders that we saw from the Python kit right here. So that's great. We got some more pieces, some more piping and tubing going in there. And some more spikes down the side here, in fact, going over the icon that we've got on the side of the ship. So that's awesome. And looking underneath, we don't have anything added down here. So yeah, okay, so let's move on. Now, out of all these pieces, I've got to say, I think the third one is actually the best. So that's the one we're actually going to go for. Moving on to the wings, we're going to go and have a look at these. Now, right now, these are going to be potentially a little bit difficult to go and see because the wings are actually further back here. These may actually go and start covering things close to the front. I don't know. Let's go and see. There we go. Yep, we can see we've got a bunch of spikes coming out here, bunch there. Some extra cylinders attached up top, some more there, and some more spikes. So let's go and apply this and have a closer look. Now, as we can see, we've actually got a bunch more spikes added to the front here, basically around the point there. So there's a few there. There's quite a few up on the top of the ship. So they actually do extend a good way down, but they are only on one side. Again, we've got more cylindrical containers there and a big spike coming out of this side. Oh, and some more containers on some more cylinders underneath. So that's interesting. What else we got? Nothing forward of that point. And again, the limitations of this new camera system are beginning to show because I'm really struggling to get around the ship again. I really hope Frontier fixes this because this was better actually before they went and changed the camera system. But we can see here, we've got some more spikes there, some more here, some mounted there, and some more cylinders up top. And if we go down to the bottom, we've got some spikes coming out the side. No more cylinders that I can see though on this side. So again, it's laying itself into the very asymmetric setup. Doesn't look like we've got any extra spikes around here. So that's great. Okay, again, more asymmetric. Moving on to the second of these, we can already see that it actually doesn't put too much on top either. It looks like we've got something here with a spike coming out, maybe. And we've got a lot of spikes along the side and down the bottom, so this will be less noticeable from the cockpit itself. So let's apply and get a closer look. Again, we can see that there's not as many spikes up the top here, but there are some extra ones by the look of it. Moving down, we can actually see that the spikes actually move along and extend down the side of the ship. I don't think that is anything to do with the kit. I think that's actually part of the Anaconda in general, because it looks too orderly. So, yeah, that's this side. Maybe a few bits here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we have a few pieces attached there. Those cylinders are back again, and we've got some more spikes down the bottom here, at least on this side, with some more cylinders and a big fin. Moving over to the other side, we can see another cylinder right there, with another spike coming out of it, and some more spikes running down the length of the ship. Again, some more spikes around the docking legs, which do seem to clip through the landing gear window, the landing gear doors. So that's not great either. Looking up at the top, we can see that they do have some extra pieces attached to the top, which is going to be that piece off the Python kit. So yeah, not terrible, but again, it could have been executed a little bit better in my eyes. Now, moving over to the last one of these wing pieces, we're going to go and have a look at this one. Now, this one does add a lot of pieces onto the top of the ship. And with these big, big, big spikes there, I wonder how this is actually going to affect our view out the front of the ship. So let's apply this and let's actually go and see. They are kind of blocking our view, but not terribly much. And now coming and looking at the sides of this, we can see there's a bunch of big spikes coming out of the side of this. Those are huge. And more being strapped across the side of the nose there. A couple of fins there. Another bunch of spikes at this point, so that's not terrible. Again, those big spikes there, I think they may be a little bit too big for me, but I'm not sure. Some more spikes here, some more mounted down the side here. And let's go and have a look at the other side. Again, we've got more at this point here, more on the side there up top, and more just lining the side on the way back. And a few there. So yeah, and another fin actually, yeah. So yeah, quite a few extra spikes added onto this one, and maybe a few here. It looks like these have been added with this particular kit. It seems like it, so yeah. Alright, that's a lot of spikes. And a few underneath by the look of it. Yeah, there we go. Now, out of all of these, I think, to be perfectly honest, I think this one's probably my favourite of them. Actually, I don't know. Maybe this one. I'm not sure. Just because we're going to be having added extra bits up the top there. So a couple of spikes on the side here that we are going to be able to see. So yeah, that looks kind of okay. So we're going to go with that one. Moving on to the bumper parts. Let's go and have a look at these. First up is going to be this one. And holy cow, that is a lot of spikes. Again, we've got the piece from the Cobra kit that's been sized up and put on here. But this kind of feels like it fits quite well with this ship, because it's put in a kind of interesting place. And those tubes are going into some interesting points on the hull. Then we've got a bunch of spikes coming off of it and some fins there. But let's apply it and get a bit of a closer look. Alright, getting a closer look, we can see that it's added, I think, this part here, maybe that one there, I'm not sure. That might have been from the previous one, I'm not sure. I think that one was from the previous kit. This is, I do believe, is from this one. We got the spikes up top, we got a fin here, another fin over the other side. So, really bad attempts at pirate aerodynamics. And we've got all these spikes at the front here. We've got a little fin on the side, but it's not overly huge. We've got fins on both sides, but this kind of just feels like it fits quite well. It's just a way of mounting more spikes at the front. In fact, I kind of like this one. It does make the ship look a little bit more intimidating. Moving on down the side, again, we've got the spike there, and I do believe those pieces were from the wing piece. So, yeah, that's nothing to do with the front piece here. And we've got nothing added down the bottom, so let's move on to the next one. Although, I think I've just spotted some kind of item mounted on the bottom there that wasn't there before, so I'm not sure what piece actually goes and adds that on. Moving on to the second bumper, that's going to be this one. And blooming heck, that is a lot of stuff as well. Lots of spikes here. The cages over the maneuvering thrusters, some more pieces here of the fin, and more stuff up the back, and a few items there. Wow. I mean, are those pieces added as well? Or no. But we can see that this has added a lot of stuff. In fact, they're not actually over the maneuvering thrusters. Those are over the utility mounts. So that's a bit of a change of pace. So, okay. Let's go and apply that one and get a bit of a closer look. Now, looking at this one, we can go and see that we've got a load of spikes down the side of here. Nowhere near as intimidating looking as the previous one. We do have what looks like some kind of grenade launcher, smoke grenade launcher kind of thing added at the bottom. Maybe a decoy thing, maybe some extra little chaff launchers or something, we don't know. More spikes on the side here, most of them side facing, a few of them front facing. Some more spikes up the top. We've also got those cages over the utility mounts. And just a load of added extras over the top of the ship here. Spikes, horns, hoses, cylinders, fins, everything. So, yeah, and what looks like another little antenna there. So that's really kind of interesting. Just lots of added extra little bits there. Now moving from the second to the third, and this is the one with what looks like the roll cage. Okay, and this has got a metric buttload of spikes all over this kit. A bunch of extra panels up the front, some spikes here, down the sides. This kind of looks kind of interesting. So let's go and apply and have a look at just what this looks like. Now, looking around from inside the bridge, we can see that the roll cage is actually over the, well, over the canopy there, although there is a bit of a clipping issue looking up, so that really needs to be addressed. Because you can see, looking side to side, we can see that it clips through our vision, so that's not great. Looking forward, it doesn't really go and obstruct our view hardly at all, so that's fine. So starting from looking at the cockpit, we can actually see that the roll cage is in fact there, and it does just look like a modified version of the Cobra cockpit, but it can't have the cockpit roll cage. But it works well here, actually. Without the extra bit on the side, it works quite well. We've got some spikes on the side of the bridge there. Some hosing going on the side there. Some extra plates just in the center coming down from the bridge. And some spikes there. More spikes here. Although I think they were from the previous piece. So let's zoom out. More spikes there. Another spike coming out the side there. Loads of spikes down the front. And the side. And around the front as well. So that's very, very spiky. We've got the extra pieces here, so spikes up the front, what I thought looked like a fuel cell in the centre, although it probably isn't. And some more hose, not exactly hosing, but tubing there, so that's interesting. And some more pieces added on the side, with some rounded plates added on, so that's kind of cool. Lots of spikes there, looks almost like a fortress over the top. Wonder how that would actually work with clipping issues with turreted weapons, though. So that's a question. Again, more spikes down the side. Some cylinders. Some what looks like was originally a fin on the Cobra. But that kind of adds together to be something different and interesting this time. And so there's that tubing from before. And again, we've got more spikes down the side. Do we have any underneath? We have a big, massive bunch of spikes there. Well, two big spikes. And that's really about it for that one. So, yeah, lots of spikes there. A bunch added in here as well, as we can see just under the upper whole superstructure. Now, last but by no means least, we need to be going on having a look at the tail pieces. So, first of all, that is going to be this one. So, what this looks to be adding is some pieces potentially down the bottom. I think I saw... Yeah, we did. So there's a few spikes down there. Yeah. And these pieces, some pieces there and something over the other side. So let's go and get a bit of a closer look. So starting off looking underneath, we can see that we've got some extra cylinders mounted on the side there. We've got the spikes at the bottom. And moving on our way up, we can see that they've added some kind of really, really poor attempt at a spoiler there. It is actually mounted off of the hull. So that's interesting. We've got another one here mounted off the hull. And a couple of spikes there. Looks like we've got some more of these canisters added on the side here. So add it with these particular pieces together. There's actually 3 of them, although 2 of them look to be a little bit... No. They're not stubby. They're actually the same size and they look exactly the same. Okay. And we've got another couple of finned items down the bottom. Exactly why these would have been added by the dopey engineers would have been beyond me. But they're there anyway. So, yeah, okay. So that's what they are. So, yeah, alright. Moving on to the next piece, that is going to be this one. Now, there's less fins, but there is actually a bunch more spikes coming out from the back by the look of it. Going back and forth, we can see that there is a bunch of materials added around here. And I can't see anything down the bottom, so to speak. So let's go and add it on and go and see. So looking underneath, we can see that there's nothing added on the lower superstructure that we can at least see from here. A big plate here with the fins coming back with the spikes on them and some reinforced girders there. Potentially a couple of spikes, but I doubt it. And then we've got the extra spikes coming out the back here. We got some more spikes there and there. And then we've also got a bunch of spikes here and a little bit on the under superstructure there. As well as potentially these spikes here and some more fins with spikes added on here. And potentially that little piece there as well, but I suspect that's part of that kit. Now, lastly for these is going to be the super spiky one, which is going to be this one. Okay, seems to add a couple of spikes here and some items up top and bottom as well as these here. So let's go and apply that and have a bit of a closer look. So we can see that we've got a bunch of spikes added here to this section here. Again, it looks like something off the Cobra maybe. especially as the way it's been added in. Some of it doesn't quite add up to the superstructure, so some of it is a bit floating. We've got another big finned thing down here with some spikes on it. Another one here. And what else? We got anything up top? Yes, we have the two big ones up top as well. They're kind of interesting. They kind of go quite well with the line of the ship almost, in a way. Big spike here. I think that was added in. And that's about it for that. Now, out of these ones, I'm really not sure which one I like the most. To be perfectly honest, I probably think we'll go for number 3. So, there we go. Now, what we need to go and have a look at now is the paint jobs. So, let's actually go and see if these have the same issue that we had on the Python, where they appeared a lot darker than they actually looked in their pictures here. So, let's have a look at this one. No, this one appears to be about the right colour. Again, it seems very low res. It doesn't seem... It just blurs from dark to light. And it almost looks like a really crappy spray job, trying to look old. Number 2, here we go. Yep, a lot more brown than what I was expecting down here. Not terrible, but just more so. More of a yellowy brown down here. Next is going to be number 3, and that is going to be very, very pale. So that's not awful. And let's have a look at number 4. There we go. This is like a nice little mid-tone. Again, a lot of the details in the centre, like where the paint is supposed to be completely flaked off, they look very manufactured, very low res. And the next one is going to be this one. Very, very kind of orangey brown. Very little of these kind of paint come off details. So it's not terrible. It's not amazing either, but it's not the worst I've seen. And we've got the last one here. We've got some of the metallic paint there, which is kind of okay. But yeah, overall, it just feels a little bit too pale for my liking, to be perfectly honest. I think, let's see, should we go for... Yeah, I like this one because it's got two tonal colours. We've got like more of a brownishy colour there, yellowishy brown down here. And more of like a kind of a purpley redishy brown up the back here. So we're going to go for that one. So this is what we've ended up with, the Raider Anaconda. I've got to say, it does not look absolutely terrible. In fact, this one overall does look a bit better than some of the others. But still, overall, I'm not a big fan of these particular kits, and some of the PCs do feel very lazily put together. But at the end of the day, it's what you think about these kits, not what I think. So, as always, head down into the comments and let me know what you think of this particular kit now that we've had an up-close and personal look at it. Are you going to be picking these up? Have you already done so? Or would you not touch them with a 10-foot cattle prod? So, yeah, let me know what you think, as always. But that is pretty much going to be the end of this video. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and I do hope it has kind of helped you decide whether you're going to go and pick these up or not. So, as always, like the video if you've liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Neither of those good enough for you, that's what the comments are for. And don't forget, you can always come and join our community on Facebook or Inara. Link, as always, is going to be in the video description. I've been Commander Chaos Wolf from Sci-Fi Gaming. You guys, as always, have been epic. I will see you soon. And until next time, my fellow commanders, keep flying and stay shiny.